So you've been seeing all of these guys online, living a life of freedom, wealth, of abundance, and it's been a little while since you've been wanting to start your own online business. Maybe you want to travel the world, to live like a king, to never have to worry about money ever again, so that you can peacefully enjoy life. Or maybe you simply want to provide a higher quality of life for your family. In this video, I'm going to share with you what's the best online business that you can start in 2023, and it's still going to be true years down the road. I'm sure you've already watched a lot of videos on YouTube about the best side hustles that you can start in order to earn up to $1,000 a day, or the top 10 businesses that you can start as a beginner. So I think it's fair to assume that you already know that there are many different business opportunities that you could get into. But there's this one thing that I've never seen anyone else mention before in their videos, and it's the fact that in order to build a successful online business, the first crucial step, if you do this one incorrectly, it's going to ruin your chances of winning, of succeeding. It's to pick a business model that aligns with your own personal goals. For instance, why would you record and upload face cam YouTube videos just like this one if you absolutely don't want to gain some notoriety? It wouldn't make sense for someone who wants to remain unknown and anonymous to start a business using a YouTube channel where they show their face, because they literally have the potential to become famous worldwide. So in order to complete this first step correctly, which is to pick a business model that is in alignment with your goals and with your needs, you need to carefully evaluate what will the consequences of starting this business will be for you. For instance, if you decide to start an affiliate marketing business, you need to ask yourself if you really want to get only 10 to 40% of the profits for literally doing 80% of the work. Because let's face it, in business, the Pareto law, which states that 80% of our results only come from 20% of our actions, means that 80% of the work is to acquire customers, eyeballs in front of your offer. I like to use this metaphor to illustrate my point. You could be selling the best, the most delicious, the most nutritious tea in the world, but if your store is located in a dark alley in the middle of nowhere, the quality of your product simply won't matter, because no one even knows that you exist. The same concept applies to online marketing. It doesn't matter if you are offering the best products or the best services in the world. If no one knows about you, your company, and your offer, you won't make any money. The same logic applies to starting a dropshipping business. Are you ready to handle the fact that your profit margins are going to be razor thin, and that you will most likely have to be faced with many imprevisible situations, such as for whatever reason there's an issue with the delivery of your products, maybe they ran out of stock, or the manufacturer simply can't ship the orders, maybe Facebook ads is banning your advertising accounts, or maybe there's a worldwide pandemic affecting the delivery of your orders. As you can see, if you make the wrong choice, this is absolutely going to destroy any chance of becoming successful in the online business space. If you didn't watch the last chapter of this video titled Making the Right Choice, then this section of the video isn't going to make much sense at all to you. So go back and watch the last section if you haven't done it, and then come back to watch this one. Now, there's also a very important factor that you need to take into consideration when choosing which online business to start. And in order to do that, you need to ask yourself, how long can I maintain this business if I had absolutely no money coming in and no customers? Let me give you an example. Software companies are known to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in development and customer acquisition before they even become profitable. A lot of software companies use the free trial method in order to attract new potential leads and customers onto their platform, meaning they're going to offer a free trial for 7 days up to 60 days. The purpose of this strategy is that the new leads, the people who took the free trial, start using the software until it becomes a habit and until they realize how useful it is. The purpose of the free trial is to hook new potential customers so that they end up liking the product so much that they sign up for a paid subscription. But what nobody really sees is that behind the scenes, the software company is actually spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in order to keep the operations running and the company afloat. So not only do most software companies need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars each and every single month just to maintain their operations, but they also do this for a couple years in a row before they can finally start to become profitable. And this doesn't even take into consideration the fact that a lot of software companies just aren't even going to make it because they're not selling something that truly solves a deep, painful problem in their market. So not only do you need to pick a business model that is in alignment with your own personal goals and needs, such as if you don't want to risk becoming famous, don't start a facecam YouTube channel, but you also need to pick a business that is not expensive to run, since you cannot afford to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars each and every single month for years in a row before you get a chance at becoming profitable. Now, I'm not one of those lucky people who started off with wealthy parents and a perfectly ordered life. I'm just like you, I simply couldn't afford to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars per month in order to build a company like a software company, simply because I barely had a few $100 in my bank account account at the time. I spent all of my money on books, on courses, on workout equipment, on travel, on education, because I always knew that knowledge coupled with implementation and consistent action was and will always be the key to success. After a lot of research, after a couple businesses started, after a lot of failures, I decided to start a consulting business. Now I realized that the word consulting might seem a bit scary or even a bit too professional for some people, but I'm not talking about those gigantic consulting firms that employ consultants that are paid per hour and that go train other employees in other companies. I first started my consulting business by helping other entrepreneurs improve their efficiency using biohacking techniques because I naturally had an interest in that subject. And it was also a market that I understood quite well since I was an entrepreneur myself. And so I knew, and I also learned from my own experience, that the goal for most entrepreneurs is to grow their business and to grow their monthly income. Therefore, I knew that if I could help them to do just that, no matter what method I used, they would be willing to pay me a handsome price. Starting this consulting business, I had to figure out how to get clients, how to get people to be interested in what I have to offer, how to generate meetings on demand. The reason why most people don't succeed in the consulting industry is because they have no clue how to get meetings on demand, on autopilot, so their calendar stays empty and they basically have no meetings, and no meetings with potential customers equals no sales, which equals to no money. People started to ask me how I was able to easily generate dozens of meetings per week with qualified prospects. So this is when I transitioned from helping entrepreneurs with biohacking to helping other entrepreneurs get more meetings with qualified leads and as a result grow their business. The amazing part of launching my own consulting business a couple years ago was that I really didn't have any operational costs. I was running my business for as close to free as it gets. Now there is one big misconception that most people have when they're thinking about starting their own consulting business. They've been led to believe that they need to have the skills first in order to be able to help their market, when in reality it's the other way around. In the software industry, they have this concept called the MVP, meaning the minimum viable product. Instead of adding every possible feature they can think of to their software, the developers ask themselves what's the bare minimum that the client needs. For instance, what's the bare minimum that the client needs if they want to use an email service like Gmail or Outlook? They just want to send emails. What's the bare minimum that a client needs if they want to send some invoices to their customers? They just want to send invoices. It's not all of these crazy fancy features that nobody really cares about that matter. Some features can be a nice addition, but they're vitamins. They're not painkillers, and people don't really pay for vitamins. On the other hand, they pay gigantic sums of money for painkillers because they solve painful issues, whereas a vitamin is just a nice to have. It doesn't solve a deep and painful problem that you need to get rid of right now, right this second. There's no real urgency involved. Like if I were to sell you a vitamin, I could use two different approaches. I could either say, if you take this vitamin, it will boost your health. Or I could say, if you don't take this vitamin, your chances of dying from cancer within the next 5 years go up by 500%. In which case would you be more inclined to buy the vitamin? Probably in the second one, because there's a direct, painful problem and also a sense of urgency. The reason I'm saying all that is because you can get started in consulting right now, even if you don't have any skills to begin with, because you can learn those skills. You can simply find a painful problem that people have and solve that problem for them. The more painful the problem, the more money people are going to be willing to pay you for it. And a lot of the time, people kind of know what they should be doing to fix the painful problem that they have. Like pretty much everyone knows how to lose weight and be healthier, but no one really does it. People are not doing it because they don't really have a roadmap, a step-by-step plan laid out in front of them. Your goal as a consultant is simply to provide your customers with that roadmap that they can follow. When I started my first consulting business, I wasn't the same person as I am now. What I mean by this is that in order to get to where I am now, I had to change and to constantly evolve myself into a better version of myself. I remember that when I first got started, I was feeling quite anxious and shy, and hopping on a sales call definitely felt like it was the end of the world for me. Before I actually started this business, I would procrastinate for months because I was terrified of getting on the phone and of selling. It wasn't until I grew into a better, a more confident, more skilled, more disciplined version of myself that I managed to successfully conduct more sales calls than I can even count. You know, everyone has fears, but the crazy thing that we often fail to realize is that the fears that we have, they're just in our head. They're not real. Most of the things that my overactive mind imagined, like people threatening me, shouting at me, none of those things actually ever happened. Sure, some people told me some stuff that was a bit nasty, but that's just what people do on the internet. So all of this time, I was essentially limiting myself with negative beliefs about things that were all in my imagination. Like, it's actually pretty funny because when you do this thing that you've been scared of doing for so long, you're like, oh my god, are you kidding me? This is it? I should have done this 5 years earlier. So right now, you might fit this description to a T. Maybe you're afraid of selling on the phone, or maybe you're afraid that you will get rejected or that people won't take you seriously. Maybe you're afraid of failure. Maybe you've got all of those limiting beliefs in your head telling you that you can't do it, that you're just not good enough, that you're not cut out for it. Believe me when I say that I had the same exact thoughts and beliefs when I got started. But the fact that I'm making this video right now proves that I was able to overcome those fears, thoughts, and limiting beliefs. And if I did it, so can you. Pretty much anyone can get started with a consulting business and become successful at it. The success rate is actually so much higher than any other business I've ever seen, like affiliate marketing, dropshipping. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see more videos about how you can start your own consulting business. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.